Are you a YouTube creator or a TikTok creator or just a creator in general and somebody sends you a cease and desist letter? I got one, and let's talk about all the things that you need to know so that you can make an educated decision about how to move forward. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantabulous weight loss quest, and hopefully you'll subscribe, come along for the ride, because I put out new videos every day and go live every Wednesday. So this one is going to be a video for all of my creators and anybody who is just generally curious about what to do when you receive a cease and desist letter. First things first, I am not a doctor. Second things second, I'm also not a lawyer, and I never played one on TV. So your first step should always be to evaluate the document that you received to find out if it's real or not. And if it is, depending on what it is that they're asking for, you may want to consult with an attorney. Step one. So first things first, we're going to read the cease and desist. What does it say? Is it super threatening? Are they asking you to do something? You're going to look at it and figure out, okay, what are they asking for? Did they send this to the correct person? That's important. And also, is this for real? So one of the things that you'll want to do is it is likely going to be sent to you either by a company or by a lawyer of some sort. You're going to want to research either that company or that individual to figure out, are they real? The other thing that you want to take into account is that if the lawyer is sending you a cease and desist, for example, about a video that you created, and they are, let's say, a closing attorney, right, for realtors, chances are that the person who sent the cease and desist, right, is just utilizing a friend of theirs that's a lawyer, and they're having them send you the cease and desist to try to scare you. It is important for you to remember there's no reason to be scared. Okay? A cease and desist is an opening of a negotiation. It is an opportunity to discuss things that both parties want to achieve. So, if you're receiving a cease and desist and it's about some content that you've created, then you want to look at the demands. At some point in the document, it's going to detail exactly what they want you to do. They want you to stop doing this. They want you to stop doing that. They want you to take this down, right? They're going to give you the specifics of how they want you to rectify this situation. It is very important that you take note of those items and look at them and objectively say to yourself, is this something I can do with minimal damage to myself? And this next part is extremely important. I'm going to move in real close. And I'm going to say this to you from the bottom of my heart. It does not matter if you are right or wrong in this situation. I'm going to say it again. It does not matter if you are in the right or you have done something wrong in this specific situation. I know that for many people, your initial response to receiving a cease and desist is panic, right? I mean, nobody wants to be taken to court. Nobody wants to get sued. Nobody wants to be attacked, right? It's perfectly natural. I would encourage you, take a deep breath. It's okay. Read everything 3, 4, 5, 6 times if you need to. Make sure that you understand all of it. And then look at what it is that they're asking you to do. Now, for many creators, it's essentially going to be, hey, you made this content that we don't like your blog post, we want you to take it down. If it's not going to be a life-changing blog post, okay, that's going to earn you millions and millions of dollars, your best course of action is to take it down. Because if somebody got butt hurt enough about your blog post to have a lawyer send you a cease and desist, to take the time and put in the energy and do all of those things, then they just might be butthurt enough to actually take you to court over it. Now, I know that for many creators online, especially video creators like on YouTube and TikTok and various platforms, it can be really jarring to get a cease and desist, and you think, but this isn't fair use. I can use this and create content. And I'm going to remind you, it does not matter if you are right or wrong. There are plenty of people that get the crap sued out of them, and they were 100% right. Those people can also lose a case on a technicality even though they were right. So like I said, if that video, if that skit, if that blog post is not going to make you millions of dollars, the best thing you can do is whatever it is they're asking you to do, assuming that it's within reason. Now, I mentioned previously that a cease and desist can be an opening of a negotiation. So for example, if you're caught up in some drama online, you made a video about somebody, they made a video about you, they get butthurt, they send you a cease and desist, right? One thing that you can do is you can use that as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to do what you're requesting, but here's my request in return. I want them to take down their videos, right? So that their stuff is not just floating out there with no context, right? Because you're going to remove your stuff. For the most part, if people are reasonable and they understand that that is the most beneficial situation for everyone, they will comply. So if you're caught up in some drama, right, and somebody gets their feelings hurt and they come after you, don't panic, and quite frankly, don't take it personally. Remember that others who are unable to regulate their own emotions and feel the need to attack you because of something you said or something you did or something you wrote about, right? You can't control how they feel. You just can't. Whether they got mad or sad or offended or butthurt, it doesn't matter. That is outside of your control. Chances are you didn't do anything to hurt somebody's feelings on purpose, right? I mean, unless you just have one of those channels where you're out there just ripping people a new one, in which case, okay, well, yeah, you might have upset somebody on purpose. But for the most part, for most situations, that's not going to be the case. The key is not to have an emotional reaction. The other point that I want to make sure that anyone who's dealing with this without an attorney is aware of is there is absolutely zero requirement for you to take crap from an attorney. If they become aggressive, if they're snapping at you or saying awful things, first of all, you need to make sure that all of your correspondence is in writing. And you need to make sure that you have it saved. Any videos that you have, any documentation, screenshots, all the things. The moment you get that cease and desist, you need to make sure that you have all of those and copies and backups. Because sometimes when people have an emotional reaction, right, they can take things too far for no reason at all. And again, that is outside of your control. There's no reason for you to stress out about it. There's no reason for you to get upset about it. You just kind of have to roll with the punches. A few other key points, if you're going to turn this into a negotiation, is you need to make sure that you're setting some kind of deadline or time frame. Chances are, in the original cease and desist, there's going to be some sort of time frame, right? You have a certain number of days to comply or, whatever. So it's important that if you make an equally beneficial request, that you are also setting a time frame and you check to make sure that the other party is meeting that time frame. Even if you're corresponding back and forth with a lawyer, it is important that you double check behind them to make sure that their client is complying with your request. So, for example, if their request is for you to take a video down, and then your request is for them to take their video down, make sure that they're taking them down on all of their platforms, not just one, right? It's important that you really think about the details and don't be in a panic or in a rush to respond. You have a time frame to respond. And if it's all too much for you, then absolutely seek the guidance of an attorney and make sure that you're providing them all of the details. Remember, your attorney works for you, and they can't do the best job that they can do if they don't have all the details. So make sure that when you go to meet with your attorney, should you choose to work with one, make sure that you are in a calm state of mind. Make sure that you have all of your details mapped out, right? Because they're probably going to charge by the hour. Make sure that you have some notes, that you're not in a panic, that you're not scatterbrained all over the place and they're having to try reel you in, right? And corral you and calm you down, right? Make sure that you can convey all of the information that they might need in order to best help you in a clean, unemotional, factual, succinct way. That way they can give you the best advice as possible. And also you're not getting charged 20 gabillion hours by a lawyer, right? That you could have taken care of in 45 minutes if you had been properly prepared. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the ride. Make sure you go check out my other videos where I have helpful tips and tricks that can help you on your journey. And as always, be kind, rewind.